As we've discussed on this channel several times, the last 3 years have been a real estate recession, and some might argue depression. That has only been accentuated with recent data, with the existing home sales for the nation coming in below 4 million at 3.93. And it is getting worse. I believe July will be worse and probably August worse as sellers continue to delist, right? The want to sell versus need to sell, and buyers seemingly just waiting on the sidelines because of all the negative headlines. This will lead to less transactions. However, if you are a investor, specifically a buy and hold investor, this is the best market I have seen in a decade. Actually, I went back and looked. It's probably been 12 years. But I am afraid that most investors, like most of the time, they will miss this opportunity. They will wake up sometime in the future when rates are lower and competition is higher. So we're going to talk to Beth Traverso, see what's going on in King County, aka Seattle, and see if it too might be time for some disrespectful offers. Beth, how you doing? It's been a minute.
Yes, it has. It's so good to be back. Thank you. So nice to connect with you again. And I was around back in 2013. I think I was just doing the mental math when you were doing that intro. Like 12 years ago was 2013. That was the bottom of the trough of the cycle. From the peak, was 2007 to the trough was 2013. Yep. And that's when things really started to turn around. And I remember back then people weren't buying because of all the reasons. They thought that it was going to keep going down because why not? It's been going down for 6 years. Why would it not keep going down? But no cycle will last forever, and up or down. And looking back now, it feels like those were the golden days, right? Is this the same? No, I mean, it's always going to be different, but what I am seeing is the strongest buyer's market I have seen in a long time, even in the greater Seattle area, which is a strong market. So, and what I'm seeing right now this summer is that a lot of buyers are distracted, or I don't know if it's just combination of just maybe feeling a little bit like this isn't the right time, but a lot of they're on vacation doing summer fun things. In our Seattle market, the summer is always a slow, quiet time, which is counterintuitive to what a lot of people think. They expect the summer is the busy time for real estate. And around here, at least, it is. And I can't speak for other markets, but I know here it's not, because this is when the weather is beautiful and everyone's outside and they're traveling and doing fun things. And so it's been quiet out there. Inventory is building. In July, we're up 46% in King County year over year, and 91% on the east side, which is where I am. 91%. Now that's still we're still about 2.6, 2.37. We're not, as far as months of inventory, it's not like it's a huge 10 months of inventory, but that's a big difference if you're going from 1.5 to, let's just round it up to 3 or thereabouts. Sure. So what I'm seeing boots on the ground is that we are seeing quieter listings, more market time. Me personally, my team, we've had a good summer, but I can say that every single deal has been hard fought and hard won. It's that's fine. We welcome that, right? But it's and I'm talking about from a listing side, because I work with a lot of sellers, and we are getting deals done. And every once in a while, I am seeing the disrespectful offer out there, when I'm working for the seller, where it's a different perspective. So let's keep that in mind, but from a buyer's perspective, I can see that sometimes that will work, especially if you find somebody who's with the right motivation, who is getting antsy and it's been on the market for months. They might not take it. They're unlikely they would accept an offer like that in the first couple of weeks. But as time goes on,
exactly,
you'll find out who's serious and who isn't, and as you mentioned, a lot of sellers are delisting and going to come back on later, or who knows. But a lot of people are accepting too of how the market is, and they know they need to sell. And some people have no choice but to sell. And so they're carrying 2 mortgages, for example. They already moved. Motivation is there. Sometimes there's other things going on, like a divorce, or it's an estate sale, meaning somebody passed away. So there's certain people that need, that's why it's important to have your agent talk to the listing agent to see what is the situation there, what is important to the seller. And it's funny, especially offers from investors that I get as a listing agent. I almost never get a phone call or anything. They just throw it over the hill, so to speak. And, like, why don't you just call me and kind of figure it out a little bit first? Would go a long way. A lot of times it's just never hurt, no email, text, call, nothing. I think you can get a lot further if you can just ask some friendly questions just to figure out, like, have you had any offers? What's been going on? And, why is the seller selling? It's kind of those trick questions that a lot of people don't like to answer, the why is the seller selling. But you'd be amazed how much detail you'll get sometimes if you just ask. So worth asking. Do your homework.
Yeah, again, I think this summer is going to go down, depending on your glass half full or glass half empty. This summer is going to suck for real estate transactions. I think it will be the bottom, much like 2013 was. And then, we start healing in September. We're not going to heal fast, but it will start being better year on year. But let's talk about why the summer is going to be so bad. Number one is not all listing agents are like you and willing to have difficult conversations. I'm still seeing properties in my buy box listed at wish pricing, right? The agent took the listing, hoping for a unicorn buyer, and they're overpriced by 50 grand or so. Those will either end up in significant price drops or they'll be delisted. We're seeing delistings at the highest rates in years. And that's one of the things that I always got on the doomers about. They're talking about inventory being up 50% year on year. But I'm like, well, if you subtract 30%, because it's just bullshit listings that aren't even real because they have no chance of closing, it's not really higher. But what I think is happening this summer is, to your point, is buyers went on strike. I don't know if it's the hangover from uncertainty. I don't know if it's the job market being weaker than expected. I don't know if it's the threat of AI and layoffs coming that have people nervous. But it certainly seems like, buyers are like, nope, I'm out. I'm going to wait till next year. It really does seem like a buyer strike is the big thing that changed the last couple of months.
I agree with all of those things. And any number of those things could be impacting it to varying degrees. But for whatever the reason, I know just the chatter I hear out there amongst busy agents is that activity is down in certain areas. Certain core areas are still really busy, and that's always going to be that. But more around the periphery is where I'm seeing in particular it's especially slow. And the areas that we see this in the nationwide market too, like the areas that spike up tend to cool off faster too. Look at your Floridas and Arizonas, Texas, and those kind of places that just traditionally have always had the spike and drop. To a lesser degree here, we have that too. Like for example, my East Side area where, that's the same area where you would get 200,000-300,000 over list when the market's in the busy season, to now it's like, some price drops, so it's like that alone, like the fact that you're not getting the bidding wars driving at hundreds of thousands up. When those go away, you don't get that price surge, and then the numbers are lower. And so it's just one of those things about studying your buy box every day and just being aware. Especially if everybody else, if your competition is on vacation, what better time? And I'm not saying don't go on vacation, do your fun thing, but almost every place has Wi-Fi somewhere at some point during the day, and you can check it, and you can electronically sign an offer if you want to, and it can go out, it's possible. And I think that those who are diligent about that are going to get some better deals this summer. And to your point, if September rolls around, and not like it's going to be a free for all, but if we're coming out of the trough, then maybe, and who knows, if there's a rate cut, nobody knows, but if something happens with interest rates, I think that's all it would take at this point, because I do know that there are a lot of buyers out there that are waiting in the wings, and they've been waiting for some of them for years, and they're getting tired of waiting. And I like how you described it, that people can be worried for 6 months or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. The retail consumer can traditionally be scared for 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, if nothing bad happens, they're like, I just got to go live my life. Right. Yeah. The average consumer doesn't live in fear for longer than 6 months. Certainly some people do, right? We have the people that are doomers who lived in fear for a decade, but that's not most people. Most people got 6 months, and then they, realize the world's not ending, and they live their life. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting, because I think the other things that we have learned is, I think it was late last year, we had rates drop to 5.99 just for a millisecond. I think it was for 3 or 4 days. And What we're setting up for right now is, because rates will be 5.99 sometime in the future. The question is when.
Yeah.
And it's probably fair to say they'll be 5.99 sometime in the next couple of years, is a reasonable guess. And the longer we stay here at 6.6 or 6.7, it's just like that pressure building behind a faucet or something. It's eventually going to break.
Yeah.
And if we do that into an environment with, restricted inventory, it could get wild pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that anything with the starting with the 5 is going to bring people off the sidelines that have been waiting around. I think everyone accepts the fact that we're not going to see the 3s. Maybe, who knows if we'll ever see 3s again? Not anytime soon, that's for sure. And they're not waiting for that. And if they want to move out of state, or if they want to take a new job, or they want to be closer to family, retire, and then here's the other thing too, is like a lot of these retirees, they have no mortgage on their house. So those are the folks that are moving, they're selling and they're buying cash somewhere else. They're using their equity to buy cash elsewhere where they're going to retire for a lower cost of living. They're not downsizing in the same area. They're downsizing. In my area, it's too expensive for a lot of folks to retire. So they go to they take their money and they go elsewhere, and that's where they do their downsizing and they're retiring. So, I don't think we're going to see extreme distress or foreclosures or anything like that. There's too much equity out there, too much, any of the fundamentals are very different than they were back in those times of 2013 or so. But there are enough people out there that need to move because they've already made plans where they're going. Like they bought the house already. They're carrying 2 mortgage payments, which are expensive, and they got to free up that cash to live the next phase of their life. And everyone starts out wanting the high dollar. It seems like, who doesn't, right? It's human nature. But then over time they become realistic and they just want to move on.
Yeah.
And when you send in your offer, I think a good way to phrase it is just like, this may not be the the price that they were hoping for, but it is a path forward. And maybe there's something else in there where say like, maybe it's as is or something like that, where it's like, you give me my price, I'll buy it as is or whatever. I feel like there needs to be some incentive to take the low price and not ask for literally everything. But it depends on the circumstance. But if you can say, okay, you take my low offer, you can be you can be on your way to Arizona or whatever in 3 weeks or whatever it is.
Right.
So otherwise, who knows how long you'll be there. Yeah.
I'm curious about one last thing. When you look at your market, we'll stay in King County or East Side. East Side is where you play the most. I'm curious, inventory is up almost double, you indicated. I'm curious though, is it still a product mix problem where most of the inventory is stacking above the median and you still have this lack of supply below the median, or is that starting to even out?
It's starting to even out, but we definitely have a lot in the mid tier. So on the East Side, there's a lot of housing developments. So you'll get a lot of inventory in the same community drags the price down, because if there's 10 for sale in that community and they're all kind of the same, it's sort of a waiting game to see who's going to drop their price first and how much.
Right. Yep.
And so people just circle around waiting to see, because they know, like, well, we don't have to hurry because there's 5 of this floor plan for sale right now.
Yeah.
So,
makes
but
sense.
every year I see the normal trajectory every year is that the seasonality is that once we get past the fall, we start seeing people wait till the next year to list. And then that inventory starts to one by one get sold, move or cancel or whatever. And then you're left with almost nothing over the holidays. And that sets us up for the strong first quarter, which is our normal seasonality, where there's no inventory. Buyers are eager to buy something. They're like, we thought we had all the time in the world and 10 of the same house to choose from. And now they're all sold or gone and nothing new is coming on the market. Then a good one comes on in January. And let's say if rates are in the 5s and that happens, then prices are going to bump back up again. So again, who knows? It's all just prediction. I'm just going off the decades of seeing that same trend every year. So I think that's going to happen again.
Yeah. At the end of the day, where we are right now with the market we have right now, if you are an investor, specifically a buy and hold investor, it's the best time to write disrespectful offers or to get great deals, get cash flow, get seller credits. Again, folks, you want more inventory, AKA more choices. You want less competition, i.e. buyers on strike. And you want to increase your chances of finding motivated seller. Look for things on the market 30 days, 45 days, 60 days,
Yeah.
whatever it is for your buy box. And then write a disrespectful offer, in my words. And oh, by the way, to Beth's point, call the agent, see what you can figure out, see if there is motivation. Do some equity research. Do they own it free and clear?
Yeah.
Right. There's all kinds of things you could be doing. As most people are not in the market, it's time to, it's time to create great deals.
One more point I want to make that I just thought of, something I'm happy to see come back to our market is I've been seeing VA offers. Like, oh, in a hot market, they could never get it accepted, because of the appraisal and there's challenges, additional layers with it.
Right.
VA offers, you can get in 0 down, etc. They're not investment loans, people, but you can do a house hacker, for example, with a VA if you qualify. But so VA offers and sometimes VA offers with rate buy downs. I've been seeing some of that, and I've been seeing some of those be successful. So
very cool.
That's just a nice thing. And if VAs are being accepted, then that means probably FHAs and these other ones that get clobbered in the hot markets. You'll never compete with a cash offer if you're FHA, for example, and a cash buyer's vying to get the same house that you want to buy. So anyway, that's just another cherry on top for this buyer's market that I hope some more people in the audience get to take advantage of.
There you go. Well, Beth, if somebody wanted to buy and sell in King County, or better yet, they're part of one rental at a time and they want a referral to a top agent, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, a great way to reach me is through my website, BethTraversogroup.com. You can also message me on social media, or I'm also in the school community.
Awesome, Beth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.